Welcome back, Team Builder fans. A GG9-inspired Team Builder Conference Dynasty is back and ready to roll. The question is, are you? Team Builder Conference Dynasties have been a staple of this channel since 2018, adding our creations into the American, the Mountain West, the Big 12, and most recently, the MAC. Over the past 2 months since College Football 25's release, we've been pretty busy creating our teams for this Conference Dynasty, and I can't wait to reveal each one and a team preview. But before all of that, we have to talk about the series at large and how it's going to work. Unfortunately, my partner in crime, my brother, Little Broski as you know him, is unable to be a key cog in this series like he was in the past. So while we won't get that brotherly banter like we used to, we're doing something a little bit different this time around. So for this Conference Dynasty, we'll be having some of my closest friends that I've made throughout my years of content creation taking over a team. In total, there's going to be 5 user teams. Could be more, waiting on a couple people there. Could be about maybe 6 to 7, maybe. And it's a perfect number to help capture that competitive nature of our older conference dynasties, but still have the flexibility to keep the series moving along, which is really important for a YouTube series. The more teams that you add, the more people that you add, and the more schedule conflicts that you potentially could throw in. Therefore, the harder it is to keep the series moving. So I'm sure that there's going to be some people out there that would have really liked to see a 16 user team online dynasty, but at what cost? Every Thursday will be an ESPN Sports Center style highlight reel of multi-week action, which kind of serves as an update video that kind of keeps you in the know of the conference's news, its storylines, and its updates. This highlight style vid keeps the season moving along, and we're going to have about 2 to 3 games per team shown in that highlight video. Some might be less, depending on bye weeks, depending on the team that they're playing. Really want to focus gameplay specifically for interesting matchups, not teams that we think you should roll over. Every Saturday will be 1 game each from each user team. Slower edits in that video to kind of help you capture the team's play style, the players, and makes it feel kind of like you're watching the game on College Football Saturdays. We'll also have a game of the week on Saturday night, which will be live streamed with live commentary from me and possibly, if available, one of the guys from our dynasty. I'm also excited to announce the return of our fantasy aspect to this series. Each week you'll be able to select players from within the series in a Google form that I'll link in the community tab, my Discord, and the description of each Saturday's video for the next week of action. Compete for a shot at channel points. Channel points can be used to upgrade or buy players within the series, and you can also use those channel points that you earn for other series that I run on the channel in the very same fashion, to be able to buy a player or to upgrade players that you have already existing within that series. And just hope that they perform well enough to win you prizes for that week. At the end of the season, your fantasy points will be added up to compete for the grand prize for that season, a 5-star mega prospect. As far as the rules are concerned, we'll be playing on All-American difficulty to start, but we'll be open to changing this if it's too easy. Sliders will be at default for now at 50-50. So I mentioned custom prospects returning here for this series. Want to talk about that and recruiting. So as far as recruiting goes, updating you all on 5 user teams or more might get chaotic every week. So we won't be dedicating a ton of time each week covering recruiting updates for each team. But if anything major happens or interesting on the recruiting trail, it's going to be covered. But most of the recruiting is going to be covered at the end of the season to just get a health check and a status update on how we did and get a little bit better of a look at incoming freshmen or JUCO players. For custom players specifically, the lack of recruiting updates will help here, since we don't want to update you regularly on wide receiver Doug Gold on your recruiting board and then rename him to a custom player later in the offseason. You'd probably be asking, like, what happened to that 3-star wide receiver Doug Gold at that point? It'd be kind of confusing. Where did these guys go? So we still want custom players to get into our series, but not at the expense of the recruiting updates that we do provide. So therefore, the lowest caliber player that we recruit will be the ones that are renamed and re-rated. So before anybody freaks out that we're cheesing the recruiting system, I still want to find a way to get custom players inside of the series, and I want you guys to be good enough to make an impact in the early part of your careers. I would hate to have you guys have custom players in here and never get playing time until you're a senior. Like, it just isn't really that cool. It's not very fair. But if anybody's worried that this will cheese the recruiting system, we do have a system in place where, yes, even though we're re-rating and renaming a 1-star or 2-star player, basically your lowest caliber player, you will have a wheel spin element to this. So we're going to put those custom players on a wheel spin and then determining where you go from there. That way there's no cheese factor involved. Like, we can't have super teams with custom players. So we've covered how the series is going to run. Now let's get into the team previews. Starting things off first, my team, the Santa Fe State Roadrunners. Rated as one of the worst teams across the PAC 16, the Santa Fe State Roadrunners have a couple players of noteworthiness, such as this player here, Gregory Bryan, defensive end, freshman. If you all know, I did have open submissions for freshman players, and yes, the man's a 92 overall, but it's okay because we want custom players. Gregory Bryan, 6'4", 275. He's a beast. 99 power moves, 99 strength, 99 pursuit, 99 awareness, 99 acceleration. So before anybody freaks out again at this player, just know that I want custom players and I want people that you can root for inside this series. So Gregory Bryan, he's a beast, incoming freshman, gotta love him. Making a return is Wes Ricketts. He is an 80 overall quarterback. He's a senior, so we're only going to get one season out of Mr. Wes Ricketts. This was a player that we had way back when inside of the Mountain West Dynasty, so kind of getting a little nostalgic here with Wes Ricketts. He's got some pretty decent medium throw, deep throw accuracy, but he's going to be more of a short throw accuracy quarterback at a 90 overall attribute there. Also making his return is Lee Brubaker, a 73 overall running back here. He's going to be one of my favorite players to utilize. His archetype is a receiving back. So he does have to work on some route running a little bit. That's pretty good for a running back, though. He does have some physical traits that have not been unlocked yet, but as a upperclassman, as a junior, hopefully he does come back next season as a senior, and then we can kind of unlock those physical traits, and he'll be an even better player next year. But we're going to lean on more so our wide receivers versus our running backs. And speaking of those wide receivers, we have Captain Jose Montero, Roy Calico, J.D. Weeks, a freshman with 99 speed, and D.K. Horn with 99 speed as well. Now, for those open submission freshmen, I did offer you to have at least one 99 overall attribute. That way you could get a little bit of a boost as a freshman on each team. So J.D. Weeks, D.K. Horn, they're the future, but they're going to be under the tutelage of Jose Montero and Roy Calico, two wide receivers that, again, were players from way back in the Mountain West Dynasty. So overall, Santa Fe State is a 72 overall team. Our offense is worse than our defense, probably simply because of our strong safety here, Russell Granger. He's a custom player as well, coming in as a freshman strong safety. Defense rated a little higher than our offense. I think that's just with the depth. Considering the depth, we've got some players that are in the 60s and 50 overalls. Santa Fe State gonna be a work in progress type of team here, but we do have some cornerstone pieces that I'm excited about. Looking across the state in New Mexico, our rival, the Albuquerque Arrows. These guys will be usered up by Dalton, and he's going to be in love with playing with Fernando Bourgeois. That's his custom quarterback here, and he's going to be the first player that we talk about here for the Albuquerque Arrows. Now, before I talk too much about Bourgeois, the Albuquerque Arrows, just a little history lesson there for these guys. These guys used to be called the Albuquerque Apache, and they actually lost in a vote-off way back in the Mountain West Conference Dynasty that we were putting together for a YouTube series. So, looking at the gear here real quick, you can see that the chief head right there. Let's go to the arms real quick, and let's take a look there. So there's the old logo there for the Albuquerque Apache that are now being called the Arrows. Probably one of the more cool uniforms that we have put together here. But Fernando Bourgeois looking pretty darn good. He's going to be a beast, guys. He has 99 speed, 99 acceleration, 99 awareness, and 99 deep throw accuracy. So not only is he going to be able to run the football, he is going to be tossing it deep on a lot of these PAC 16 defenses. So I'm a little nervous when I have to go up against Bourgeois in user versus user gameplay. Looking at some other freshmen here, we got Israel King, Aki Taki Onani, which is a great name, Alejandro Garcia, and James, or probably it's probably James or Jamez. I'm gonna say Jamez until I'm corrected, but DeBasin. So we got a couple freshmen there, good players, and something to build on for the Albuquerque Arrows. The next user team will be the Idaho Tech Fusion. This will be operated by Teaspoon, long-time supporter, long-time subscriber. The Idaho Tech Fusion. Now, they have an interesting dilemma here at quarterback. Chet Trask and Nuke Lear. Nuke Lear is the freshman. He has a 99 rating for agility and throw power. Some of these players that you will notice are guys that are patrons or channel supporters, so they do get more than just one 99 overall attribute versus people that were open submission freshmen, just FYI. But Chet Trask is going to be the starter here by the looks of it here, 93 overall. He's a junior. And just can see that Idaho Tech uniform, man. It's pretty cool. A little backstory about Idaho Tech Fusion. This was one of my brother's teams way back when he was just a middle schooler. Back in Madden, create a team back in 2005 or something. He'd have to correct me on the date exactly. But Idaho Tech Fusion. Red, like an off red, neon green, and sky blue. Love it. Love it. So Chet Trask will be a big-time player here in this PAC 16 conference. Got to watch out for him. But they also have a guy up and coming in Nuke Lear, which is fitting perfectly with the Idaho Tech Fusion name. But they got a pretty good offense. Calypso Berryhill, related to Carter Berryhill, is a freshman. So they got some good running backs, wide receivers. We've got Dominic Lucas, Angela Webb, Wayne Bridges, and Speedy Lloyd. So all these players are pretty darn good. Offensive line, you just can see a quick little scroll here. It's one of their strengths. If anything, they're one of the best overall rated teams inside of the NCAA. We know that Teaspoon's going to have a lot of fun playing with these guys. And I know for a fact that they're going to be one of the teams to beat inside of our PAC 16 conference. You can just see the cornerbacks here as well. Look at the speed. Everybody's above a 90, which is for some teams a problem inside of College Football 25. Sometimes those cornerbacks that you get in as a recruit, they don't hit over 90 speed. So these guys are fast. They can cover well. You can see the man coverage ratings here. They're going to be tough, man. They're not going to be an easy squad to take down. Plus, we have another freshman here, Jarrell Santander. Freshman, 83 overall. He's going to be a big-time player back there in the secondary. Our next user team will be the Fresno A&D Artists. What is A&D, you might ask? Art and Design. Fresno A&D Artists. And right off the rip, we see a 85 overall freshman, Magic Hendricks. This team will be usered by Keneal Mason. And you can see Magic there, his look there. He's going to be magically painting a success story there for the Artists. You can see his accuracy numbers. He's a very accurate passer. Throw power at a 99. His play action's an 85. He's a pretty darn good athlete. Like, that's really what I'm kind of getting at here with Magic Hendricks. So he is going to be possibly trying to do it all, trying to be pulling out magic tricks for this Artists squad. They're a 74 overall team, so they are a little bit better than my team, the Santa Fe State Roadrunners, but they are one of the worst teams in the PAC 16. So Magic Hendricks is going to be a big player for them. Plus, they've also got this guy, freshman Jaden Parker, as an 80 overall running back. He's got the 99 speed. Again, just one of the open submission players that gets 199 overall attribute. But Jaden Parker here got some physical traits in there as well. Got to be able to unlock those eventually down the line as he starts progressing and maturing as a player, as an athlete here. But really, the name of the game here for the Artists will be their offense. Even though it's rated 74 overall, I think they're only going to go as far as Magic Hendricks is going to take them. They've also got Sport Billico in here as a freshman wide receiver. Tight end look, we've got Ivory Shelton, not a custom player. But offensive line looks pretty good at the top, but they do have some depth issues there. A lot of underclassmen that, you know, really have to grow into the role there and get a lot better. So defensively, you can see that their front four, defensive tackles, left ends, it's kind of a weak point for them. Linebackers a little weak as far as depth is concerned too. So I think, again, it's just going to come down to their offense more than anything. That's going to have them have success or not as much success this season. Also have another player to cover here, Coco Bop, a strong safety freshman, one of our open submission players. He loves to bop people. He loves to hammer people. He's got that physical trait up to a purple, right? So he's pretty darn good. Kind of working our way up to some of the best teams in the conference. We talked about Fresno A&D, Santa Fe State, right? So we got 2 teams covered there. Now Anchorage, the Anchorage Auks. Not one of the better teams in the PAC-16 as well, but their defense is what's going to carry them. They do like to run the football. Now, admittedly, I don't know if the playbook is going to change because they're a CPU team now. They're not my actual team builder team that I'm using. So it's just going to depend. But I designed this team in order to run the rock, to pound the rock. You can see here a senior wide receiver, Cooper McTavish. We got one wide receiver, Buddy Bannister. That's one of their better players. We've got Verrill Raven as a strong safety, Elijah Thornton. Some good offensive line numbers there, right? Some solid defenders. But we also have quarterback here, Solomon Waters. He is got that purple dot trait right there and pull it down. So he can kind of do a little bit of both there. So Solomon Waters, deep throws in 99. Some pretty good accuracy numbers there as well. Awareness is a little low, but for a freshman, that's pretty good. Everything else seems like he's a pretty solid athlete. So the Auks are going to be relying on their quarterback to not turn the ball over because they're not going to score a lot of points. They're just going to try to run the football quite a bit. They've got 3 fullbacks, for God's sakes. So, yeah, and the wide receiver room is not very loaded, right? Moses Waters, the third, a freshman. Austin Pitbull, a freshman, 99 speed. So they'll utilize these guys on offense, but they're going to probably like to run the football at will. Hopefully. That's kind of how I designed them. Hopefully that rings out true for the series. Couple good defensive players there, but again, the linebackers a little weak. Torrey Middleton, their best player on defense. And then the cornerbacks are a little slow. 86 speed for a couple guys here. A couple guys less than 90. So they're gonna struggle a little bit defending people. But maybe Verrill Raven is going to be that second level help that they will absolutely need if they get burned. Next team up is Bellingham State, the mighty Puffins. This team is an 82 overall, but they don't feel like an 82 overall. They've got some really good players. Case Kjeldsen, junior quarterback, so he's probably going to come back next season. They also have a sophomore, Bailey Andrusik, and Tobias Fitzgerald. So little quarterback battle there depending on what the CPU is going to like to do for them. But Case Kjeldsen has an 89, some good running backs there. Wide receivers, they've got Bob Tracers and 99 speed. And he's also got the purple layout there too. It's a very athletic receiver, deep threat type of player, so you know that that's going to be a big connection for them. Hillis Pickles and Roddy Pitlick. So these 2 freshmen are going to be a little dynamic duo there down in the future. And you just look at how young that they are with their wide receiving core. So their offense is going to play, and it's going to play for a long time. Julian Majewski is an 85 as well. Offensive line looks solid. Doesn't look incredible, but they're pretty good. Plus they've got Wallace Verplank here. Play action shields in the purple. They got gold pocket shield and strong grip. So he's going to be one of the better right tackles for quite a while. And then defensively, might be their weakest side as well. Giovanni Jones is an 89 defensive tackle, so he's going to be a guy to watch out for. But Derek Evers is a 95 junior middle linebacker. We've got Ho'olu Lilo is an 83. Cornell Cruz, Crosby Stills, Amari Wilson, so some solid cornerbacks. And Zebby Lipton as a strong safety. So, yeah, they're pretty solid. I would say that they're one of the teams that could potentially compete for the PAC 16 conference title. Next up is Colorado A&T. So Colorado A&T, they've got some depth. They might not show out as one of the better teams, but the players that they do have, you see that the wide receivers are pretty good, right? Braylon Kinsey, Rashad Winfield. We've got Cruz McAllister, and a quarterback, Elijah Spears, as the 83 overall freshman with a ton of purple traits, right? So they look like they're going to be pretty good. Elijah Spears got 99 speed, 99 agility, 99 awareness. So he's going to be one of those players that maybe he's not amazing with throwing the football. He's got 99 medium accuracy, so that'll help him out. He might be sneakily one of the better quarterbacks in the conference that nobody's really talking about because he can run. He's got the medium accuracy as well. He's not going to try to throw it deep. He might not even try to throw it short, but to the middle part of the field, medium depth accuracy, he's going to be pretty darn good as a 99. So just watch out for Colorado A&T. Plus they have this quarterback, Jake Hayes, who is not as good as Elijah Spears, but if Spears ends up struggling, do they end up going with Jake Hayes down the road? And does he have enough dev trait to maybe overtake Spears down the line? So just something to watch out for there. Good running back, DeAndre Mason, and then they also have DeAndre King to kind of back him up. So a good 1-2 punch with running backs, and then a really good wide receiver core right here. Not even one guy is below a 70, right? So they're going to stay. They're going to stay for a long time with their offense. Got Chandler Henry here as a senior. Martin Tate, a freshman at 64, so he's got a little bit ways to go. He's actually, the tendency is the archetype. They think he's more of a blocking tight end, but he has a 99 catch rating, so he's going to grow. I'm not worried about that. Dorian Hatcher, Amari Biggs, Jalen Moss. Pretty good offensive line. Gary Littleton, one of the better right tackles in the conference. And then defensively, actually, they look to be one of the better defensive teams that we've seen in a little while here. So Lamar Houston as a corner at an 87 overall. So yeah, Colorado A&T kind of sneaky good a little bit there. So just watch out for the Colorado A&T Sonics. Next up, a returning team, just like Colorado A&T and a couple others. Honolulu College Islanders. You guys remember these guys, right? Team that used to be part of the Mountain West Dynasty. So we have some new teams and we have some teams that are returning. Honolulu College is coming back. Best player on the team is Eric Massimino, the right end, sophomore at a 94 overall player. He's not a custom. He is a CPU guy, renamed by us, re-rated by us. We want to have these teams have a little bit of our feel and our input in here. So we like Eric Massimino as a big-time player for the Islanders. He's going to be wreaking havoc on our quarterbacks. Anytime that you play the Islanders, you know you're in for a long day, right? Tyler Stratton's coming back, plus Romulus Suggs. He's back as well. Punt returner, kick returner, Heisman winner. Guy was just a beast out there for the Islanders, number 25. He's back. Tyler Stratton's back as well. So we got the old cast and crew coming on back, donning that red Islanders jersey. Now, taking a look at those quarterbacks, we've got Darren St. Daniels, a junior. So that's a good place to be. So if Tyler Stratton ends up getting hurt this season, they at least have another guy here, St. Daniels, to back him up, plus the freshman Sebastian Drake. So we have a succession plan there for the Honolulu College Islanders after those guys are gone. Plus we have Lucas Olson, another custom player, Romulus Suggs, as we just talked about, and then their wide receiving group here kind of looks pretty similar to Colorado A&T, probably not as good at the very top. You got Lassiter, McGarry, I should say. I almost said Cordova, McGarvey. Braden McLean as an 84, and Vitolo, decent tight end, left tackle. Yeah, offensive line looks to be really, really good. Jerry Hauser's a 91. So they actually look to be one of the better teams, honestly. Yep, just kind of slow scrolling here. We got the cornerbacks, Quay Billups, Business, Aesop Davenport, Nick Reeder. They could probably be had here at the secondary level, but that defensive line, that offensive line, Honolulu College is a tough team. They're going to beat you up in the trenches by the looks of it. Really good D-line, really good offensive line, and some good skill players too. Now, the ratings may not show it for LA Metro, but they are one of the best teams in the conference and a team that you have to watch out for. They got a quarterback here, Rocky Atkins, as a 90 overall sophomore, and then Sonny Hendricks backing him up. So he's on the come up, but Rocky Atkins, for now, sophomore at a 90, he's going to be a big-time player. Friday Mutton is a 91. You can see that, you know, what he's got with his acceleration and speed and his spin moves and juke moves. He's going to be a player inside this conference. Anytime that you play LA Metro, that's going to be a guy you got to watch out for here. Isaiah Warwick, Jervis Vero Jr., Ashton Miles, Onyx Landau. Man, they're just loaded, right? They've got the big-time recruiting funds. They've got all the NIL money. Jay Ballmer as an 83 freshman. They're not going to be easy. They're young, in the right spots. Aloysius Shirley is a left tackle sophomore, 85. Junior is Jae Hung Namgung. There you go. Got it out. Vojislav Hafner is an 85. That offensive line, we just talked about Honolulu College having a really good O-line. I think LA Metro might have it better. Who's got it better than us? I think LA Metro does. I think they can say that. Nelson Bullock, an 87 overall freshman, middle linebacker. Yeah, man, and then Kylian Elton and Sixto Yaxhall. Solomon Gadsby, 97 speed. Yeah, the defense, the offense, it's all there, but I think that overall rating is really kind of considering their depth pieces there towards the bottom half of this roster. They got a couple 60s here, the last three guys for their corners, middle linebackers, another guy in his 60s, 61, 68. So I think that that's really kind of what's contributing to the overall rating. But LA Metro, as far as their starters go, they might be the favorites to win the conference. Next up, we got the Multnomah State Orcas, and again, kind of the same thing happening here, but 84 overall doesn't really do them a lot of justice. They're one of the better teams in the conference as well. They might even be vying for a playoff spot inside of the college football playoff just with how good that they are. Look at what they've got boasting here. A good cornerback with DeMarcus Wingo at 86. Their offensive line, they got some good players there. Middle linebacker with Rosenbaz, right? And then a secondary, right? Wingo and Zed Rhodes. Defensive tackle Noah West. Offensive line Austin Philpott. And then the halfback Brad Hunt. All right, so they're pretty darn good. Plus the quarterback. We know this guy very well, don't we? From way back in the Mountain West, the Dynasty. Oren Sparks. He's back. He's back. Look at those uniforms. Love them. There's a little bit of a glitch you might notice there on the shoulder pads. Sometimes it came over as glossy, and other times it didn't come over at all. Like you didn't recognize the pattern or the style that we wanted or the material, right? So got to work with us a little bit. Plus, we got Deuce Cook as a freshman, so he's on the come up after Oren Sparks. Hopefully, he can hold off Khalil Amato Johnson. I think that he probably will, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see how that whole battle shapes out. But good running back room for the Multnomah State Orcas. Wide receiver room could get a little bit better. It could stand to do a little bit better, but we also have Cervantes Corsair, who they can build around as a 99 acceleration freshman. Might be agility, actually, but some good purple traits there for Cervantes. Not yet. 99 speed, 99 excel, 99 awareness and catching. He's going to be pretty darn good. Darn good. Omar Busan, junior tight end. They'll be utilizing him quite a bit. Theo Oakley, Axel Avery. Look at that offensive line, man. They're going to run the ball. They're going to be utilizing Oren Sparks to be running the football as well. Good defensive players as well. Andre Blue, Knobloch, the left end. Pretty darn good, man. Noah West is a 93. Godshaw, Icarus Godshaw as an 85 defensive tackle. Blake O'Hearn. Yeah, they're not going to be a team to mess with by any means here. Good cornerback room as well. So the Multnomah State Orcas, watch out for these guys. They might be the class of the conference. All right, next team, we've got the Northern Utah Golden Swarm. And they're going to be led by quarterback James Novak. They also have a couple of quarterbacks underclassmen here. Evan Petrol and Andre Sosa. Bryce Zajac is a junior. You're probably never going to make it there, Bryce, as a 69 overall, but I've seen crazier things with depth traits. We also do have a quarterback here. Brady Urker is a freshman. He's a 68 overall, and his 99 rating was, in fact, throw power. So I think he's got to work on the accuracy just a little bit in order to bump up that rating, but the Golden Swarm have a good succession plan with their quarterback room, but they are going to be led mostly by their offense. They've got Nadim Onyekachi with as an 80 overall, Keyshawn Bender, Cat Smith. It's a good running back room for the future. Wide receivers, again, going to be led mostly by their offense as an 84 overall unit. Jarquavius Hammer, Darrell Rangel, Myron Hendricks, Andy Florentino, Jalen Polk West. They're all right, aren't they? Offensive line, 85, 78, 86, 80, 91. They'll be pretty decent. I just don't think... I think that overall rating up top it might be a little bit overrated, I believe. I don't think that they're that good, but we could be wrong. We could end up seeing them making some noise. I think they'll lose a couple games close. I just don't think they have enough players across the entire team in order to make some noise, but we've seen crazier things happen. So just watch out for Northern Utah, the Golden Swarm, but yeah, I think it's going to mostly be their offense that carries them. Taking a break now from all of the really good teams that should vie for a conference championship. Now we take a little bit of a break here, talk about some of the bad teams. We got the OMI Commando Ferrets, Oregon Military Institute. They're not very good. They're supposed to be running the option, but again, I don't know how that's all going to work if the CPU changes things depending on the coach that they create, because there is no coach right now for these guys apparently. I don't know, it's weird. But some of their best players are their punters and their kickers. Flynn Glenn and Ulysses Crouch, right? So, and they got the same face. So they got some problems. OMI has some problems. Herman Granger, one of their best players, along with Cameron White, but he is a custom player there, the freshman running back, so he should get a lot of run if they end up running the football as much as I think that they should. His tendency is receiving, but he's got the 99 change of direction, right? Strength, awareness, vision, break tackle, right? So they should be pounding the rock with Herman Granger. I just hope he doesn't die in the process. So nothing really else to cover there for OMI. They've got some problems. And then back to some of the worst teams here. We've got the Sedona State Coyotes. They're a little bit better off than OMI, but you can see the overall rating there, 67 overall. Their worst player is a 45, Cody Shannon. They got some tight ends that are really bad, right? A lot of tight ends that are really bad, kind of really bringing down those numbers. Quarterbacks, running backs in the 50s, right? They actually came over as a cupcake roster template, so that's really where the overall rating is coming into play there. But they're probably not as bad as you would think. They're not going to be very good in the conference, but they're probably not as bad as you would think. They're led by a freshman quarterback here, Trip Ferris, at an 82 overall. And take a look at the Sedona State Coyotes uniforms there. I really want to show you their helmet, though. Really want to show you their helmet, because it is a little bit different than what we've seen from other teams here. So if I can take a look here at their gear, there's their helmet. So a little bit of a Boise State look, in all honesty. We've got the chrome outline of the Coyote, and then, of course, the helmet being that little matte finish there. I love the look of that. So that's Sedona State for you right there. The Coyotes, purple and orange. Gotta love them. I honestly thought about being this team for this run here in the PAC 16, but I decided against it. Just got to stick with my old tried and true Santa Fe State Roadrunners, don't I? Running back wise, they've got Kieran Berry and Chris Bastian. So again, they're not as bad as you would expect, but their depth is such an issue that it's bringing down their overall rating. Scott Mulholland, Josh Patterson, Quan Feebles will lead the way, but again, look at they're very top heavy. So this is kind of Sedona State's issue. Very top heavy. They're gonna have to recruit really well to kind of help out this really lack of depth. Look at their tight ends. A 63, then bad. 84, then bad. 84, then bad. So you can kind of get the picture here for Sedona State. They got a lot of work to do. Got to hit the recruiting trail pretty hard and get a lot better. Defensively, though, doesn't look like they're going to be that great either. Just only got a couple players to watch out for there, and everything else is pretty awful. So, you know, they're going to really rely on that offense. I've said that quite a bit now here for our teams, but it's the PAC 16. It's kind of taken on a Big 12 identity where the offense is going to play and defense is not. Next team up will be the UMR Bighorns. This is another team coming back. They used to be called Rocky Mountain State, but we've since changed that to University of Montana Rockies. It's kind of a mouthful, but UMR Bighorns. Nick Padgett is returning as quarterback for our Bighorns roster here. We got the little mountain range on the side of the shoulders and the sleeves there, kind of like that look for UMR. Kind of got a little Colorado State feel to him, but yeah, Nick Padgett's going to be a nice player for them as a junior. I don't want to say they have much of a succession plan here other than Adam Montague. So outside of Padgett and Montague, nothing really to write home about. So they're really going to have to hit quarterback here pretty hard inside the recruiting trail. That's just kind of what it's kind of what UMR is really going to have to hit on in recruiting. Now we also have this player here, Rand Yaova, or Run Yaova. His tendencies are receiving back, but he's mostly been rated and re-rated as a power back. So he's going to literally run you over. So freshman running back, got some work to do, but we do have some upperclassmen here where he eventually will end up becoming a starter. This team is going to like to run the football. We got a wide receiver here, Danny Northrup, freshman, 80 overall. So, of course, the Bighorns are going to want to run the ball down your throat, grind that clock a little bit, since they don't have a lot of the playmakers there in their offense. Look at the offensive line. They're not insanely good, right? They've got some decent players there. Defensively, they're a little bit better than they are on offense. So this is kind of one of the teams that's better defensively than they are offensively. Cornerback-wise, outside of the top four guys, they do have some underclassmen here. Two sophomores, two freshmen that they're going to build. So again, I think UMR presents a unique roster setup to where they're gonna rely on that defense more so than their offense. Offensively, they're going to kind of try to play keep away from you a little bit there. A lot of play action, short throws, West Coasty feel, right? So UMR, maybe eventually a couple years down the line, if they recruit well, they might be able to compete, but as a 78 overall team, they're going to find some struggle. And then we turn it over here to Vegas State, the Banditos. Mostly, again, going to be an offensive team. They've got Lennox Reed as their top overall rated player as a wide receiver, 95 speed, 95 acceleration. He's going to be pretty darn good. You can see those uniforms, baby. I love them. One thing here to look at, a bandana design on their chest and on their collar. So let me see if I can get over here to the gear, and then I can kind of show you what that looks like. This was a design from my brother, and he just thought that this was a really cool idea. So if I move it right there, you can see that bandana look. So yeah, the Banditos are wearing a bandana design for their collar and on the back side of their jersey by their name, so on the neck roll area. So yeah, pretty cool team. I like their makeup. They've got quarterback here Jordan Weatherholt, he's a junior. Sophomore Tremaine Castor and Chris Osborne, so we got two quarterbacks going to be duking that out. Plus we got a freshman here, Ken Rader, that's going to be duking that out for the starting job after Weatherholt is gone, so just be on the lookout for that. It's pretty solid running back stable there. Probably should recruit a little bit better there, but again, a lot of wide receivers that are they're gonna be big time playmakers for this offense for a long time to come. And offensive line wise, pretty good guys right there. Another really good right tackle, Aaron Federico. And then defensively, nothing really to write home about. They'll be solid. They'll be able to make some plays. They might be able to like upset some teams here and there. But yeah, again, just going to be another team that's really focused on the offensive side of the football versus the defensive side. But their offensive guys look really, really good. And last but not least, The North Pole Kringles. The meme team. We always have to have at least one meme team. In the past, it was the Shreveport Skeeters, right, in the Big 12 Dynasty. Now we get the North Pole Kringles. I hope you guys have fun with this one because they're going to be fun. I don't know if you've seen the team in that little hype video, that 50-second hype video, but the field is white for snow. It looks like snow. It looks like they play on snow. And their best players are Lil Drummond Boyce and Ebenezer Jolly. Blitzen Deer, Klaus Tannenbaum, Trey Wiseman, Cole Winters, Felix Navidad. So I hope you guys have fun with this one as much as my brother was wanting to give you guys with this one. Look at those uniforms, okay? I mean, how can you not love the North Pole Kringles? University of North Pole Kringles. Their pants that they wear are wrapping paper. It's wrapping paper. It's the shiny, glossy wrapping paper. Plus, the numbers are chrome, and then the side panels there on the sleeves are chromed out as well. Pretty cool team, man. Pretty cool team. Plus, they're wearing a Santa uniform. Like, how can you not love that? Then, when you look at the helmet, they're wearing a Santa hat. Yes, they're wearing a Santa hat. Plus, they even have the ball on the back. And with the Candy Cane Kringle name on the bumper. So, yeah. North Pole Kringles. Hope you guys enjoy them. As much as we did creating them for you. Plus, the names are great too, right? But taking a look at some of their guys here, we've got their quarterback Chris Christmas, and then he's a senior. So then we have a succession plan there with Jack Frost and Avery Angstad. He's another custom player as a freshman. Running backs, we have Spike Incognito. He is not renamed to Cane Candy or Dasher Donner. Okay, so no Christmas puns there, but Spike Incognito going to be a guy that they definitely want to utilize. 99 carrying, 99 speed, 99 excel. Ragnar Thorson, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention him as a fullback. And then, of course, wide receiver Chester Nutt. Coley Freeze. By the way, this was not intentional. This was a custom player, last name Freeze, and we're like, yes, we need to put him in as a North Pole Kringle. And then Albert Price. So, a couple players there as far as custom guys go. And that's your North Pole Kringles. It's going to be one of the worst teams in the conference. So let's take a look at the schedule here for our teams. We got Santa Fe State taking on LSU week number 0. So it's part of the college football kickoff. Week 0, we're going to head on out here to Death Valley, not at Tiger Stadium. Not going to be an easy matchup, man. LSU is tough. They're rated number 13. Yes, it's All-American difficulty, so we might have a chance. But it's been a minute since I picked up a controller playing this game. I've been so busy trying to create this series and create this conference that I don't think that I don't think it's going to be very pretty, but we'll see, because we're not rated very highly. Got to remember. Then we get Multnomah State, so it doesn't get any easier there in week number 1, but we do head on back home. Then we got to host OMI, so we got 2 straight home games. Then we get a user versus user game that should be kind of even, but it depends on if I match up well against Keneal or not. He might end up being a better player than me, which is probably the case, but at least our teams are evened out. So maybe a mistake or two might cost one team the game. I think that's what it's going to end up coming down to here at Mason Stadium. Plus, we do get, after Fresno and OMI, Sedona, State, and North Pole. So our in-conference schedule is pretty easy to start off the season. Then we have an open week, and then we kind of get 2 tougher teams there with Idaho Tech and Anchorage. Get an open week again. Out-of-conference play continues with Texas Tech and Western Kentucky. Then it gets tough with UMR and Honolulu College. Gladly, luckily, we don't have to play Fernando Bourgeois in Albuquerque and Dalton. I don't have to do that this year. They're our rivals, but I don't have to do it, so I'm thankful for that. So, by the way, we are the only team to play in week number 0. So as we take a little quick snapshot here at Fresno A&D's schedule, they don't play week 0. They do play week 1 against Sedona State. And just a quick scroll here for what they've got going. Pretty decent conference schedule here. OMI
Multnomah, but they kind of go off and on. It's going to get tough for them, though. They got Utah, Northern Utah, Honolulu College, Idaho Tech, LA Metro, Multnomah. Yeah, that's not going to be easy for the Fresno A&D Artists with their conference schedule. Plus, they get Michigan out of conference, so that is not going to be easy. Fresno A&D might have it pretty rough. But we also get for Albuquerque here in week 0, they do not play. They get Arizona week number 1, so that'll be kind of fun to watch. Then we get Sedona State, Vegas State. Those should be easy games for them in week 2, week 3. Take a little bit of a break, and then they get a tougher slate here from week 5 to week 8 in conference play. Then we got, let's see, San Diego State, Washington State. Those should be pretty good games. Might be tough on their offense. Tough on their defense, actually. Stop those offenses. San Diego State might be the easier of the team compared to Washington State. North Pole should get a W there, and then Multnomah. Multnomah, that game might end up determining the conference, to be honest with you. So Albuquerque's got their work cut out for them, though. This little tough stretch right there, week 5 to 8. Everything else up top seems pretty easy, but we'll see. We'll see. Idaho Tech, they also do not play in week number 0. They'll get Coastal Carolina in week number 1. And then they get Anchorage in conference play to start it off at the Igloo in Alaska. Might be tough for them. We'll see. Anchorage seems like a gamesy type of team. You know, they're ready to play. They're ready to beat somebody in the mouth. They're going to run the ball. Multnomah, Honolulu College, then 2 back-to-back user games in week 7 and week 8. So Idaho Tech, you know, they might have it pretty tough too. They've got the better team as far as overall rating goes. They've got the better squad versus everybody here on their schedule. So, but if they drop some games, you might have to blame the coach. Just throwing that out there. Last conference game for them will be at Sedona State. That should be a W, but, you know, again, crazier things have happened. So what we're going to do, nobody else plays in week number 0, and because this has got to be a kind of a quick turnaround time, Saturday, we're going to live stream this game, Santa Fe State against LSU. That'll be a live stream game. We'll do 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and I'll go live and play this game, get week 0 out of the way. Then on Thursday, we're going to get multi-week action for each one of our teams. So Santa Fe State looks like that we'll be able to play all 3 of these games. Fresno A&D, they get Sedona, Michigan, and a user game right there, right? And then we get Arizona, Sedona, Vegas State for Albuquerque, right? So that's 3 weeks there. And then Coastal Carolina, Anchorage, and then an open week. So for Thursday, we'll get through 3 weeks, and then we'll head into week 4 for next Saturday. So basically, this Saturday, guys, will be the kickoff of the series. Live stream, Santa Fe State against LSU. Leave a like if you like this thing. Let me know what your thoughts are about the series. Do you like the format? Do you like the style here? We're doing something a little bit different there with an online user dynasty. It will be user versus user in some senses, right? So we'll see how I play against these guys. It'll be interesting. It's going to be a fun one. I'm really excited about it. I hope you guys are too. Let me know in the comment section what you think about it. And, of course, your favorite teams that you're rooting for. And if you have a custom player in the series, you know, obviously you've got your team. You found your team. I'm sure that that's where you're going to be putting your heart into, right? That's where your heart's going to lie for some of those squads. So I'll catch you guys on Saturday night for LSU and Santa Fe to kick this series off. I'll see you guys in the next one. As always, thank you so much for watching, and peace.